of you seen me around here earlier last night and or last year's Javelin classes that we had here. I was brought up on the west coast of javelin throwing, and during the 70s and 80s, it was the west coast and the east coast. There was really nothing in the Midwest as far as throwing javelin. And we were kind of on our own little trip on the west coast, and Jeff and Tony and Niclario and Bob Singh and a lot of the other javelin throwers on the east coast were sort of in their own thing, sort of like two different cultures. And I heard of Jeff, and we had been, there's plenty of room at the back there. Come on in, don't worry about it. We'll go around the backside. And then I left to South Africa, and Jeff, over the next 10 years, has been involved in javelin development and had the unfortunate task of taking over men's development right now, probably when we're at our worst point in history in javelin throwing. But I think now that we've got some new blood and some young bucks like me trying to help motivate javelin throwing in the United States, I think we're all operating on the same page, and I think that Jeff has a lot of good ideas. He probably has as much or more enthusiasm than I do for the event. Even he's bought a car now, AMC Javelin. So his heart and soul is into it. And that's what we need more of here in the United States in javelin throwing. And I think the next hour, hour and a half, we'll enjoy. Jeff Gorski.
Before you run out, I want to put things into perspective, and I'll give you folks with the camcorders right now a warning. I don't stand still, so they all have to move. The day that Tom set his world record in '83 of 327.2 on the West Coast, I was competing in a meet on the East Coast. And, you know, threw reasonably well, felt pretty good about myself until I saw the newspaper the next day and realized that I got beat by 100 feet. So, while Tom has a lot of the javelin throwers that I know that I've been around, we all pretty much realize that Tom is something of a very gifted genetic person. I mean, he has, when God put him together, regardless of the Buddha look, this is a guy who was one giant fast twitch fiber, and he learned good basic javelin technique and had unbelievable physical skills, which allowed him to throw ridiculously far, ridiculously often, and made people like me decide to quit throwing and start coaching. So what I've had to do, because I wasn't nearly as physically talented, I've had to go the long road of learning how to do this stuff the way normal human beings do, as opposed to genetic anomalies like him. So what I'm going to try to teach you folks today is how we normal humans have to learn to try to throw the javelin reasonably far. Okay? I promise you that your folks won't end up getting beat by 100 feet if you take these ideas into consideration, because all the stuff that he was doing is the same basic stuff that we're going to go over today. I want to give you your props on the 100-foot win, though. As Tom said, I'm now the chairman of the Men's Javelin Development Program, which I'm real excited about. I feel like the future of the event, at least for the men. And folks, there's a lot of folks in here that have known me over a couple of years. I see one of probably my first star athlete is here, which was a nice surprise. I saw her when I walked in a couple hours ago. Sherry McKinney, who was the first athlete that I had that ever qualified for the Olympic trials. She was kind of my guinea pig. She didn't realize it at the time. And a lot of the things that I first tried out on me and I knew worked for me, I had to try out on other people, and you know, it worked. She threw far and didn't get hurt. Those are the two really important things if you're a javelin thrower. You want to throw far, because that's the whole point of what we're doing, and not get hurt, which is, you know, really good. So if you can do both of those things, you can have a long, productive career like Tom has. One thing that I want to give you right off, I don't know if some of you can read my chicken scratch. I have a track club, Club Key House. Key House is the Finnish word for javelin, national sport over there. This is the address for it, www.intrex.net/Club Key House. If you go to that site, you will see articles, photographs.
Can we get that again?
You can't see it. www.intrex.net/Club Club, K-O-U-B, Keihas, K-E-I-H-A-S, one word. Okay? You go to that site, and you can come by and copy it off to you later on in the day if you need to. I just want to let you know.
K-E-I-H-A-S?
K-E-I-H-A-S. This is a resource website for javelin throwers. There you're going to find articles, photographs, links to different sites where you can have other type of information and discussion. We're going to put kind of an interactive question and answer site on there, places where you can send questions, send pictures, ask me to try to help you or your athletes. So this is something that we've set up in order to help get more information out. You're talking to somebody who's sitting on the side of the information superhighway with 4 flat tires. I got an athlete who is a computer genius, and the trade-off is I teach him to throw farther, he does all my computer stuff. So he's putting all this stuff together, but in terms of answering emails and things like that and giving technical information, that's one of the things that we have on here. But if you go down the menu, you'll see all kinds of different places where you can see pictures of different athletes. There's already 2 or 3 articles on training and technique that are in there. So just, you know, when you're wandering around the web and you look for something javelin related, you can find some stuff there. Okay. That said, one thing that I want to let everybody know, this is a interactive situation. If there's something I'm talking about and you're not sure of, stick your hand up in the air and ask a question. You all paid money to come here and learn something. It's not going to do you any good if you're lost in something that doesn't make sense to you. Ask me so I can explain it to you as best I can. Okay. There are 3 things, in throwing anything, there's 3 things that determine how far you're going to throw. Speed of release, the angle of release, and the height of release. In your packets, you should all have a little thing of clinic notes. I'm going to try to follow this menu as close as I can because I get off on tangents. So, you know, don't anybody ask me about my trip to Finland because I spent 4 hours with Greg Jack last night talking about going to Finland, and, you know, if I start on that, we'll never get anything covered. But you can make notes. I set this up so that you can make notes on some of the things that we talk about here. In training, throw the javelin. The most important part of throwing the javelin is throwing the javelin far. You want to get as much distance as possible. That's the whole point of the event. Style points are nice, but I would much rather have an athlete that can throw far and may not look aesthetically perfect, as opposed to somebody who looks absolutely beautiful and they're getting their butt kicked up and down the field at every meet. Okay? Generally, if you do the right things, you're going to throw far. What I want to try to teach all of you in here today is the basic things that you have to do in order to be a coach or athlete, improving the performance so that you can throw farther. This is really basic, simple stuff. Everybody talks about how complicated, how scientific, and how difficult the javelin is. Well, yeah, in some cases it is, but you know what? If you understand 3 or 4 basic concepts, it's a piece of cake. We like to allow the laws of physics to help us. Gravity works, stretch reflex works, balance and acceleration and deceleration. All these things are good basic principles that allow everything in the world to happen. And we're going to apply them to throwing the javelin. A nice, simple, easy to understand math. So the most important thing in throwing the javelin is the speed of release. How fast you get that sucker moving out of your hand is going to determine how far you throw it. Okay? The angle of release is somewhat important, although now with the new women's javelin and with the way the men's javelin has been for the last 13 years, the angle of release is not quite as important as it used to be. When Tom was throwing ridiculous 300-foot throws and I was piddling around 250, you had to hit that thing just right or it didn't go anywhere. Now, with the new men's javelin that have been throwing for 13 years, if you're a moose and you can just rip the crap out of the thing, it's going to turn itself over eventually and fly reasonably far and get you some pretty good distances. And now the new women's javelin that all of you high school folks are going to have to get new javelins by 2002. I know Pennsylvania is going to it 2001. But everybody else, high school rules dictate season 2002, high school athletes are throwing the international javelin. The new women's javelin is going to have very similar flight characteristics to the javelin the men have been throwing for 13 years. So it's going to turn over a little bit soon. But for all of you high school coaches, and I got to assume the vast majority of the coaches in here are high school coaches, you know what? For most of your athletes, if they throw the new rules javelin, they're going to throw farther than if they throw the old rules javelin. simply because the biggest problem that high school kids have is hitting the point of the javelin, throwing clean to the point of the javelin. All of you see kids that come running down the runway, and they hit their flint, and they rip the throw, and the javelin goes, whoop, and the thing's standing on its tail all the way out, and then it dumps over. And, you know, it doesn't go particularly far. You get these kids a new rules javelin, if they've got a cannon, and they've got, you know, and you're trying to get a kid who's just got a real good throwing arm, because that's how most of you find your javelin throwers. You know, the kid that tried to throw somebody out of home plate in a baseball game, and a ball went up over the backstop when he let go of his I think I can find an event for that kid. You have somebody like that, and you get them throwing a new rules javelin, even if they miss the point, they put enough juice in that thing, it's going to turn over and fly level, and they're going to get some pretty decent distance. So, get ahead of the curve. If you got some money in your budget, buy your kids a new rules implement. And I'll bet they're going to throw farther. If you got a kid throwing 150, 160, 170 feet, and the javelin's going all over the sky, get them a new rules stick. They're probably going to throw as far or maybe farther because the javelin is going to fix itself in flight. The old ones don't. The old ones, you miss it, they magnify the miss. The new ones, if you miss it, if you got enough force in it, it's still going to kind of straighten itself out. So while the angle of release is still relatively important, and certainly when you're throwing at the level of some of the athletes that I'm training, you know, we're trying to hit this thing absolutely perfect because these are guys that are trying to throw 280, 290 feet. Every little bit helps in that situation. But if you've got, you know, with the younger kids and the new rules javelins, all meet high school specs for the old implements. I was down at the NSOs in Raleigh in June, and about 3/4 of the kids throwing in that meet, who, you know, you could throw the high school implements, they had no idea. Their coaches bought a javelin. They didn't have any idea that about 3/4 of these kids had new rules implements, and they didn't know. But as you're watching the flights of them, you can tell, that's the new rules. That's not. So it's actually going to help. And there's some people, my brother's son has actually thrown farther when he was in high school. He was throwing farther with the international javelin than with the high school javelin just because it's self-correcting. It will fix some things for him.
Even with the rubber tip?
Even with the rubber tip. Okay, the rubber tip is going to cost you a little bit of distance simply because you got that big blunt hunk at the end of it, and it changes the aerodynamics a little bit. But interestingly, I did an elite athlete camp in San Diego a couple of weeks ago, and among the people that were there was Dick Held, the guy who invented the metal javelins, and probably has forgotten more about the aerodynamics of javelins than all of us in this room put together will ever know. He said that basically with the international javelin, the blunt point javelins fly farther if you can generate enough power to throw far. A lot of people, and there was a big marketing ploy. This, you know, I hope he doesn't get mad at me for giving away the trade secret here, but this whole stuff about headwind and tailwind javelins and the OTE lines, the headwind has a narrow, sharp point. The tailwind has a big blunt point. It's only for marketing. If you actually can throw cleanly through the point at a low angle with a blunt javelin into a headwind, the thing is really going to fly well. All things considered, everything equal, the blunt nose javelin will fly farther than the pointing nose javelin. So these rubber tip high school javelins that some of you guys are throwing, having this squared off, crutch bottom looking blunt tip, if you can hit the thing through the point pretty well, it's actually going to fly better than the sharp metal points that, you know, some of the other schools like in Pennsylvania or up in New England, they're throwing the all metal javelins. The blunt point is really a good thing if you can hit the point and get the thing to fly clean. The other thing that I mentioned in here, height of release, that's simply how far off the ground you're letting go of the javelin. And most of that is going to be determined by your genetics. If you have a tall kid, he's going to have a higher release point than a kid who's 5'8". But your technique also has a lot to do with that. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about, and we'll see some things on some videos. If you use your technique correctly, you're going to set yourself up to have a nice high arm strike. High arm strike does not mean elbow next to the ear. I know there's been a lot of old articles, and a lot of coaches still teach javelin throwers, you know, you got to have your elbow high, you got to bring that arm right up in here next to your ear. Man, that's biomechanically almost impossible. You want to have a high arm strike, but it's a high arm strike relative to the ground. Most of the time, if you take a javelin thrower, and we'll look at some of these on film here in a minute, most javelin throwers are actually releasing the javelin. I'm right. You have to be right-handed. Most javelin throwers are actually releasing the javelin out here at about 3/4 arm strike. They're not out here down low, but none of the great world-class javelin throwers are releasing up here in relation to their body axis. Okay? But when you look in relation to the ground, this arm is up here, it's because their body's inclined a little bit to this side. Because the throwing technique has put them into this position where when they hit their throw, their body contorts and this shoulder elevates as this elbow drops. So you see this high arm strike, but when you straighten their body out, they're hitting about 3/4 arm position. Okay? So don't be too concerned with teaching your kids to bring that arm up here and try to have a high arm strike by bringing this elbow next to your ear, because what you're going to do is two things. You're going to get them hurt, and they're not going to throw very far. And then they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to go back to playing baseball. Okay, we can't lose kids. Let them find a natural position with their arm. Just make sure the arm comes through fast. And it'll be high if their technique and their body position is correct. Okay, one of the things that I think is really, really important, like I mentioned, that I talked to Greg last night about being in Finland. And just, there's nothing like going to Finland and you're walking off the airplane with javelins in your case. And whenever you go to a meet in the United States and you walk around and you got the case of javelins on your shoulder, people ask where you going fishing, you know, or those skis, and athletes come up with stories like, well, actually, you know, they're plans for really tall buildings or something like that. Nobody knows what's in the cases. But we get off the airplane in Finland, we're walking through the Helsinki airport, and people are coming up, oh, you're going to the Javelin Carnival in Pitapudas, I hope you have wonderful results. People over there they know the event, they know what you're there for, they know what javelins are. They show competitions on national TV. The way we see the NBC Game of the Week in football and baseball, they have javelin-only competitions that they show live nationwide. It is so respected and enamored. It's almost like a religion over there. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. I was there for 10 days, and it was just javelin everywhere. Javelin, javelin, javelin. I won't get off on that tangent, but you can tell it's really something. It's really exciting. And one of the things that they do every year, they have a javelin carnival. And the first ever U.S. Javelin Carnival is going to be at the Penn Relays this year, 2,000 Penn Relays. The American Jav Fest is going to be I won't say imitation, but our version of what they do in Finland. To try to get people excited and bring a little prestige and excitement and better athletes back into throwing the javelin in this country. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 27th, 28th, 29th of April at the Penn Relays, 3 days, hedonistic javelin fun. Okay? And it's going to be all day, 9 in the morning, 5 or 6 at night, all 3 days. So you got a heads up on that. There's going to be some great stuff going on. One of the things that they do at the Finnish Javelin Carnival is they have a javelin school for 2 days, where there are kids, there were about 600 athletes, boys and girls, from 5 years old to about 22, that attended this javelin carnival. The first day was all age group competitions, from under 9 years to under 23 men and women, and then the next 2 days, they have a javelin school, where the great javelin throwers from the past come in and teach the little kids. Each group of 8 or 10 or 12 kids has 2 coaches that go and teach them every aspect of throwing the javelin. Medicine ball drills, throwing technique, conditioning, weight training, flexibility. Just is fabulous. And that's why they are so great is, guys that were world record holders and Olympic champions are out there with the 7-year-old little girls teaching them how to roll that shoulder up and get in position to throw the javelin the right way. And these kids go there and it's like going to an NBA fantasy camp. Yes, you're going out and playing 3-on-3 basketball with Michael Jordan on your team. That's what javelin school to these kids is like. They're out there and they're seeing their national heroes teaching them how to throw. It's fabulous. And the biggest thing that they teach in Finland from the very beginning is you have to know how to strike the javelin. And they don't talk about throwing the javelin. They talk about striking the javelin. And they teach that, the very first skill they teach kids. I'm going to find somebody here and make them, my little 9-year-old Finnish thrower. All right? Somebody, good, I'm directing you. This is going to be very simple. I'm going to teach you, and this is the secret right here, folks. This is how you throw the javelin. Sit in the chair. Are you right-handed? You're left-handed. Oh, I can see. I picked a talented individual right from the beginning. Okay? Hold that in your hand, please. Actually, we need to move the other way. Let's do it this way. Let's see it from this side. Okay, this way we won't hurt anybody. I have $2 million liability policy from USA Track and Field. If anybody gets hurt, don't sue me, sue USA Track and Field. Okay? Put your throwing arm up. Okay? Relaxed, extended. Okay. Now, just keep this arm like this. Tell me when you're stretched. As far as you can? Okay? Okay? Now, let your arm go. Now throw the towel. Okay. Stretch, stretch. Now relax. 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 Okay? Ready? That is how you strike the javelin. Thank you. You didn't hurt yourself, did you? Okay. You see, all that was stretch reflex. That was a catapult. You can keep that towel. Donald Trump said it's okay. That's a stretch reflex. Putting the arm back, and I physically pulled his arm back so these muscles were all under stretch, and then it was like a catapult. All I did was let go. He didn't throw. I stretched him out, and when I let go of his hand naturally flailed forward and threw the towel. Reasonably far for a non-aerodynamic implement. That's what they teach the kids in Finland. That's what you have to teach your kids to do in throwing the javelin. The arm is back, relax, the body position stretches the shoulder, and then it's a stretch reflex that snaps the javelin. You could be a great javelin thrower with no tricep. I could surgically remove your tricep, and you could throw just as far as if you had one, simply because you never use a tricep when you throw the javelin. It's all stretch reflex. The arm is a flail. It's a piece of rope that just snaps, and it channels the force that your body generates into the javelin. Think of the javelin as a bullet. Your legs and your hips and your belly are the gunpowder. Your arm is just the barrel of the gun. Your arm just aims the javelin and channels the power that the rest of your body generates. Okay, so this relaxed, snappy action is where you throw the javelin from. Now, how do we get kids to get this stretch reflex to be able to throw? This is the big mystique of javelin technique. Okay, this is where, gee, how do I do, point your feet, turn your shoulders, and be here. Run like hell and stick your front leg out. That's the basic javelin technique. Okay? You put your arm back, you leave it relaxed, you finish faster than you start, but you have to stop suddenly. That's where we run into problems. Because great javelin throwing is a sudden stop that you can't anticipate, you can't control. If you have a kid, and we've all seen it. God, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've seen a whole lot of it. You see this kid, he's at the end of the runway, and he's breathing fire, man. He's frothing, he looks like a rabid dog. He's squeezing the javelin, he's going to break it in half. He comes screaming down the runway, man, and he gets to the javelin back, and he starts slowing down, boy, and he takes that last crossover, and he lands here, and man, the Titanic could sink before he gets on his plane. And then he's just, and he's falling down, he's biting his kneecap, he's falling all over the place, the javelin looks like a kickoff going out of his hand, and they come back, Coach, why didn't that go any farther? Well, you didn't allow your body to work. Human body, very simply, is a nice framework with a bunch of rubber bands that make the framework move. In order to do any physical skill very correctly, you have to put your body into position to get the right sequence of rubber bands stretched out so that they contract in the proper order to let the skill happen. Whether it's throwing the javelin, hitting the golf ball, running hurdles, pole vaulting. And pole vaulting is going to be a real good analogy for a lot of you to use. Because when we start talking about the plant leg and throwing the javelin, I'm going to come back to pole vaulting, because basically when you're throwing the javelin, you use your plant leg the way a vaulter uses a vaulting pole. What does a vaulter do? I've never seen a vaulter any good come running down with a pole, stop, put the pole on the ground, and shimmy up. Okay? They're flying down the runway, they sprint into that pole, and they let that pole do all the work. Right? There's, you know, I mean, yeah, he's got to hang on, he's got to turn himself upside down, but he's not, you know, the pole's doing all the work. He's just going for the ride. Well, guess what, folks? If you're going to throw the javelin really, really far, you're letting your plant leg be the vaulting pole. You're going to run into that vaulting pole, and that sudden stop is going to do all the work and make the javelin go out there for you. Okay? Just, see, we don't have, this is actually pretty good, because we don't have slow motion here. So all you got to do, you're going to watch great men and women throwing ridiculously far, and what I want you to watch for is just the overall flow of how it's down the runway, and then sudden stop, and the javelin is gone. So we'll watch it for you, then we'll talk about some stuff. This is from the 1997 World Championships in Athens. This is the 96 Olympic champion, Javelin. Starts slow, gets a little faster. You hit the plant. Yeah, that's 210. You know, not, oh, see, they're 9 o'clock in the morning, man. Everybody from Finland's out there, they got the flags, they're loving it. Heli is about 5'7", 140 pounds. And one of the things that they teach in Finland, I got to talk, you know, and there's so much talk about technique and this and that and this and that. And while I watched the Javelin Carnival and I watched so many films, I got to talk with the '88 Olympic champion, who's one of the national coaches, Tapio Kordas. And I said, you know, Tapio, I've watched, you know, 600 kids throw today, and basically, oh, ouchie, but she's a good athlete. I said, you know, basically it looks like with the fins, you just, however you get to your left foot, you just get to your plant, and then you just whack the crap out of it once you get to your plant. That's pretty accurate. You know, it's not rocket science over there. It's get to your plant as quick as you can, hold it, and then just let everything happen. It's happening too fast for you to try to control, so don't try to control it. Control what you can. Accelerate, get to a solid block, and by the time you get to the solid block, you can't control anything else because it's all stretching and contracting and reacting. And that's what you should see on, okay, this is the mask from Germany. See, it's just, you know, they really don't look like they're doing a whole lot. You know, I mean, there's not, you don't see this big wind up, load up effort. Now, if we were looking at it in slow motion, frame by frame, you see all these big, extended, dramatic physical positions. But it's, you know, run, 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 stick out the left leg, and then you hit that sudden impact. That sudden impact of the plant leg contorts the body, gets the whole body stretched out into these ridiculous positions, and then all of this stretch contracts instantly and snaps the shoulder and arm to deliver the javelin. You don't try to make yourself land in this kind of position. We'll talk about this in just a couple of minutes. This is Joanna Stone. Got second here. She's throwing about 230. She's 5'10", 140 pounds. You know, that's 228.
I notice she's flat-footed on the plant. Does it matter if she rises up on a toe real quick?
Anything that happens after you make contact right there is entirely out of your control. It's simply a function of how well you hit your plant. In an ideal, perfect world, if you hit your plant correctly and everything was done exactly 100% correctly, you would hit your plant, deliver the javelin, and there wouldn't even be a reverse. Because ideally, everything that you do gets into the javelin, there's no wasted energy. She's actually pretty good at hitting it, and most of it's going into the javelin, so she's not rocking over that much. But if you have to teach your kid to lift up on his toe, they're not hitting their plant with enough authority to follow through. You got to really run into it to get something out of it. Just we'll look at one or two more just to see the, well, actually I want to get into a couple of the very large athletic men throwing, because you can really see it on these guys. I wish we had sound. This is a wonderful soundtrack. Here's Jan Zalesny, and they're slowing it down. Yeah, there's, I mean, you can't, there's no way on God's green earth that you can voluntarily make your arm strike that fast. You have to realize that it's just run into it and let everything stretch. This is not a throw, it's a stretch reflex. It's, you get into position, you let everything stretch out and it loads up the javelin. That was winning the Olympics on your last throw. How big is that? A couple of key points that we're looking at here that you can see on some of these throws is that there's a steady acceleration. You're moving your fastest when you hit your plank, like that. That's the only woman that's ever thrown over 260. That throw right there is about 240. Just won the '88 Olympics on that. You got to have steady acceleration, a good, smooth, solid rhythm so that you're moving fast, and you have to have hip-shoulder torque, where your hips get ahead of your shoulder, your hips pull your shoulder into the throw. You've got to have that type of separation. Sorry, this is a commercial. This is my instructional video, the beginning of it. You got to have separation so that the hip leaves the shoulder, and you have to hold your post and sling the javelin around it. But it's a very quick, sudden movement. Watch. He hits his plant, boom! It's not hit it and hold it and strike. It's like stepping on a landmine. You'll see on the clinic notes there. I say trigger and chase. You run into your plant, it's like pulling the trigger on a gun. Boom! And then you're out after. You're following through on the throw. That's world record in the Olympics. First thrower, world record. Take off your shoes and sit down. That's a nice way to salt things away. We'll watch one more throw after this, and then I want to actually talk about a few technical things to give you some ideas. But when we talk about technique, don't get too caught up in the minutia of things. These are simply, boom, look at that. That's just, it's run into your plant and let your plant get toward your body. That's the second longest throw in history. Or the second longest thrower in history, excuse me. This guy's got like,
Nice throw now.
20 of the 21 longest throws in history. And he's a munchkin. This guy's 5'10", 175 pounds. Zalesny, yeah, he's smaller than me. And can just rocket the thing. This is Petra Felke, again, the first woman to throw, only woman to throw 80 meters. Am I out of time? So we're going to blow up? Okay, we'll look at a few of these other things and a few more. But the things that I want to talk to you about in technique, you got to understand, people get too caught up in the minutia of technique sometimes, I think. You got to understand, javelin technique is what is the best way for me to get to this sudden jolt so I can get this big body stretch reflex going on that's going to generate speed and put it into the javelin. Okay? How we do this is going to vary. Each individual athlete is going to look a lot different. But there's basics that have to take place. You have to shift your center of gravity, your center of mass, your hips, basically. Just keeps it simple. You got to get your hips as far ahead of your throwing shoulder as possible when you hit your plant. Okay, so that you're basically trying to, and I believe in visual images, little words that you can put together that paint a picture that make it easier for your athlete to understand. Try to land with your left foot as far ahead of your right hand as possible. Not with your right hand as far behind your left foot. I really feel strongly about accentuating the positive aspects in throwing. I don't want you to try to keep your arm behind you. I want you to get ahead of your arm. I want you moving in a positive direction, running away from the javelin, staying ahead of it so that you're not trying to hold back and feel, you're trying to get ahead and continue moving. You have to aggressively attack your throw. So acceleration on the runway is of primary importance. Secondary importance is making sure that you get the hips as far ahead of the throw and shoulder as possible. Third thing is making sure that you block, and this is, for some of you, this may be new. It may be, I don't want to say it's radical, but I haven't heard that many people talking about this until I started, and then some other people have started doing some research over the last couple of years. When you plant your leg, when you plant to throw, you plant sideways. You plant your whole left side solid in the direction of the throw. When you hit your plant, you're not just stopping your leg, you're stopping your left hip, you're stopping your left ribs, you're stopping your left shoulder. Everything at impact is facing the direction of the throw. Why is this? All right, we go back to good old Isaac Newton, my boy. He teaches us that for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Probably the most important point in any field event, any track event. Action, reaction. Okay, so we're trying to get this big elastic stretch in our body, right? We want to get all these big rubber bands stretched out so they can contract explosively. If I come in and stop the left side, right-handed thrower, if I stop this left side and I've accelerated, okay, we're assuming a couple of things, that I am in fact accelerating into my block. And if I'm accelerating into my block and my hips are ahead of my shoulder, and then I hit this solid side, okay, boom, my left side is a steel pole from left shoulder to left foot. All right, all this energy and momentum from my run-up, where's it going to go? Okay, can't do anything here because this is solid, this is stable, this is anchoring and redirecting my power. The only thing that can happen when I hit this jolt is my body is going to contort and stretch. So the jolt of the plant is going to turn my hips and chest into the throw. Everybody has seen these fabulous still pictures of great javelin throwers in this, this position where the chest is up, the back is arched, the arm is striking real high, and everything is in line with a throw, and they're getting ready to pull their arm through. And I've seen generations of javelin throwers try to land in that position. What's going to happen is if you hit in this position on your plant, you hit your plant, two things happen. Your body rotates around, and your body rotates. So, if I come in and land here on my plant, I'm going to rotate forward and to the left. Not good. This is where elbows explode, shoulders get left at the other end of the runway. Paramedics are coming out with spatulas to take you away because something is not right. But if you land on your throw sideways, the jolt is going to turn me to the left and rotate me up into the throw. When we look at more of these throwers, watch for that. A lot of the views are going to be from the side. You're going to see the athlete coming in. If I'm filming from your viewpoint, you're going to see the athlete hit their plant, and they're pretty much going to be hips and chest facing you for an instant. And it's just for that instant, because as soon as they hit that plant, that incredible jolt and stretch reflex turns them into the throw, and they're through it. And all the momentum gets into the javelin, and they're launching the spear. Yes?
I noticed that your left foot, whenever you're planting, is at 45. Is that something you should try to teach or just let them know?
What I would say, and that's a really good point. Now, are you talking my plant foot or my back foot?
Your plant foot.
Okay, my plant foot is that's just happening to fall however it's falling.
Right.
And I wouldn't really teach, where to point your foot. Because again, if the kid is trying to figure out where his foot should be pointed, he's going to land on his crossover, and it's going to be, all right, where's my foot pointed at? And you're going to lose everything. If they're just running through into the throw, it's going to land, it may not be perfectly straight, but it's going to land athletically correct to allow them to do their skill. So I wouldn't get caught up with where their plant foot is pointing. I mean, unless they're just really missing it. If they're coming in and they're planting sideways like this, but they're only going to take one throw like that, because then their knee is going to be, knee. Trust me, I have no ACLs in either knee. Knees are not meant to work in that direction, because I made mine do that, and it's not a good thing. Please don't have your kids try this at home. So if you land sideways, that jolt is going to turn you, and you're going to have this nice backward lean where your shoulders are behind your hips, this classic arch position, this classic arch position comes from hitting your plant this way. You hit it, the jolt contorts you and arches you, and then you're catching the javelin back here, and momentum is standing you up. So you're pulling on the javelin just by shifting your body weight this way before your arm ever comes into play. So you've already essentially made the javelin much lighter by pulling on it to here before the arm actually starts to accelerate. So you're getting a nice long pull. You're using these big, strong, powerful muscles to generate the initial stretch and get the javelin moving, and then the barrel is just guiding the rest of the energy. But it's very, very important that when the left foot hits, the whole left side is stable and solid. Which brings us to another technical point that there's been more discussion on than there needs to be. And that's the action of the right leg, and to a certain extent, which way that foot is pointing. When you land off your crossover, okay, what happens with the right leg? And there's two schools of thought, basically. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of literature. You know, there was a school of thought that said, you know, you land on that right, and you drive your hip into your plant. Okay? And for, you know, that's high school and college, and first couple of years out of college when I was throwing was, man, I'm squatting 600 pounds, you know, I can dunk a shot put, I got all this ungodly leg power, and I'm coming in and I'm land, all right, now I got to drive, and while I'm loading up this leg, getting ready to drive my hip, my arm is going, and I end up putting the javelin because I've landed on this leg, and to load it up to drive with it, I've let my arm catch up. I'm not running away from the javelin anymore. I'm letting the javelin catch up to me, and then by the time I drive into the plant, everything is coming at the same time. The other school of thought, which, as you can guess, I'm a proponent of, is that your right leg really doesn't do a whole lot except get out of the way of your rear end. When you land off your crossover, and I'll kind of move up and down the aisle here so that some of you can see, because I know it's difficult from up here, but you know, I'll kind of move down in increments. But when I land on my right foot off the throwing crossover, I simply want to let this knee drop and let the heel turn so that my leg gets out of the way so that my momentum and my hips can keep crashing into this solid left side. Just like we said that there is no way that you can physically, voluntarily make this arm go so fast that we saw on the videotape. There is no earthly way that you can voluntarily push your hip and get it to your left leg as fast as your hips get to your left leg if you simply drop it out of the way. Okay? Look at the difference, and I promise I'm not going to try to make one look better than the other to prove my point. But if I land and push, or if I drop, which is going to throw the javelin farther. And coincidentally, some scientific research by a bunch of Germans with little pencils in their pocket and all kinds of letters after their last name, doing biomechanical research on this stuff, has actually proven that they have force plates. I mean, I want to go to Germany to see this stuff. They got runways with force plates so they can measure how much energy each leg is putting into the ground at right leg and plant of the left. And they've found that, gee, when you land on the right leg and you just get it out of the way and you don't push, and all that energy gets into the left leg and it's stopping the heck out of you, it's just bang! Those throws go real far. And the force plate on the left leg registers this huge amount of energy. The force plate on the right leg doesn't show anything. But on the throws where there was force generated out of the right leg by pushing, where there's a higher reading on the right foot and a lower reading on the left foot, the throws didn't go as far. So very simply, run into your plant leg. Use this right leg to get out of the way so that your body weight can get to the left as quickly as possible. There's different ways to think about it. I'll move down so some more of you can see it through here. You simply, when you land on it, actively turn the knee, whip the heel out. Some sort of idea like that. And there's different mental or visual pictures that you can put in that work. And every athlete's going to be different. So you got to find the one that works for them. For some people, thinking about turning the heel out is going to work. For others, thinking about, let me move down here so these folks can see. For some people, thinking about dropping the knee into the front heel works. For some people, thinking about pointing the top of the thigh in the direction the javelin is going to go works. For some people, swinging your rear end works. But every one of those ideas is making my right leg do the exact same physical action. The knee is bending, the foot is rotating, so I'm not pushing and I'm not carrying any weight on this back leg. I'm simply passing over and transferring it. Okay? For you folks back here in the Third World All-Star Gallery. Okay, simply may have landed on their toe on their plant, and this is another interesting thing that comes into play. The way your body works, the way your foot works. If you, basically, your toe is analogy to a car. Your toe is the gas pedal, your heel is the brake. If you land on your toe, it's to continue to accelerate, because if you're on your toe, your knee is flexed, and you're in a position to continue to move forward. If you land on your heel, your leg is locked, you're decelerating. I would venture to say that in that picture, the guy was overextended and he landed flat foot or toe first, and that allowed that knee to bend. When we look at some more of these videos of the really, really great throwers, you see them coming in and you're seeing the sole of their foot, their heel is the first thing to hit the ground, and that's just solid all the way up through their body. So as we look at some more of these, see the action of that right leg simply getting out of the way. The knee is dropping and the heel is turning, and you're going to see every thrower is going to have a different style of doing it, but don't get caught up with looking at the individual style. Look at the general big picture. The right leg is getting out of the way so the hips can move forward, and that left side from heel to shoulder is just a rock. That actually showed that kind of slinging action on there. An idea that you can use with teaching your athletes is that you're dragging that armpit when you come into the throw. You're trying to get everything from your armpit down ahead and let this drag and follow. Giannis Lucis. This guy guy throws 296 at the Olympics and gets second. But, there's no load up. He's just running into that leg and letting that jolt. And the other thing that you're seeing, a lot of these guys are not very far from the foul line. There may be a body length from the foul line when they throw, because they're so efficient. They hit their plant. All that energy is going into the javelin, and they don't need 15 or 20 feet. That's me. If you believe that, I've got some waterfront property in Florida to sell you. However, this is the next great American women javelin thrower coming up right here. Now I'll tell you what though, watch, you're not going to see very much going wrong here. Back knee drops, left side solid, sling. That's my daughter at 8 years old throwing 85 feet with a 400-gram javelin. Okay, here's Tom Puxtis throwing, this was right before the, this is Puxtis working out with me right before, God, this is so good. And no shoes. But I mean, there's really, you look, and the good point control, she's going to be dangerous if she gets away from her old man coaching. But this is Tom throwing like 280s about 3 weeks before the Olympics in '96, right? And then he really went on a hot streak. And you just see the flow of energy coming through. The next throw is Jan Zalesny's world record. This is 323 feet. Watch how quickly he gets on that left, boom, and he's through it. The great thing is when you see this official. The white line that comes into the picture is 295. And the official's sprinting to get to where the javelin is going to land. That's the bomb, folks. And look at that again. There's no big load up and power. It's simply running into the front leg and letting the jolt in toward the body. Look how quickly he gets that right leg. He's really good at just dropping that right leg out of the way. There's no push. Drop. Now the official's in the way. We'll see them. You know, that's a fur piece to throw that javelin. This is the greatest save. That is not a foul, folks. And it was a good throw. Okay, watch this. Right leg, boom. See how it drops? And he's just dragging that foot, and how he explodes over. I mean, that throw is a wonderful example of, remember the idea that I mentioned earlier about using the front leg like a vaulter uses a vaulting pole. Watch the way this guy, I mean, just imagine this is a vaulting pole that he runs into. Oh yeah, everything is right there. Yes?
Well, I can't tell him. He could throw himself after the
Yeah, he carried so much speed into his plant. He hit it and he extended and followed through and was so committed to getting over. He simply couldn't get his legs through in time to catch him, so he didn't try. He'd hit the throw and follow through and then just land hands first push-up position. And there's another throw on here by Zalesny where he essentially does the same thing on a world record throw. This is Trina Hadestad, 97 world champion. This gives you another view to see, watch how this right leg, when she lands off her crossover, gets out of the way, and then it's boom, into the left. You see the top of the shoe dragging the top of the toe. There's no way she's pushing. She's running into that jolt. Joanna Stone shows you a different way of doing the same thing. But also look at how that left shoulder stays over the left foot. Boom! And then the javelin is accelerated around it. You won't see a great javelin thrower pulling this left arm out to the side to open their chest. Big javelin throws, you simply stop the left arm over the left foot. Keep the left shoulder over the left foot. This is there's your Alcantara. Okay, that's 315. All right, this is Tom doing work. Now these are the kind of drills that you can have young throwers doing. Throw off a short run up, getting the rhythm of accelerating and letting the block generate the throw for you. I am a really, really huge advocate of throwing often. Not hard, but a lot. Because this is a complicated physical skill. Okay, here's an angle you can see how he holds his left side over his left foot until the javelin is out. You can see how he keeps everything over his left foot. He's playing the side of this. You can see it. But because this is, I like to make the analogy a lot to throwing the javelin being very similar to hitting a golf ball. How many, who plays golf? Okay, how many of you would think about just going to the range to play and going to the first tee and play? You know, and never, you don't go, oh, you gotta see this. This is Boris Henry. There's something really cool here that we'll see in a second, but before I show you that, let me give you the golf analogy here. If you're on a PGA tour, okay, would any of you even consider not going to the driving range and hitting buckets of balls, or working on your game, just going out and swinging the club? I mean, the most important part of golf is the rhythm of the swing, isn't it? I mean, I assume, my dad's probably going to shoot me for saying this, but I don't play golf much. You know, you know, my brother and I used to like to go to the driving range and see if we could hit the guy in the cart. So we're hitting 2 woods a foot off the ground, 180 miles an hour, trying to hit this guy. But, you learn to play golf by grooving the swing, having a pattern of movement that's second nature. And none of you, I would imagine, ever consider when you want to hit a good drive, you're not trying to square the ball up. You're trying to just accelerate the club head and move in a smooth, steady rhythm. And in order to do that, you have to do a few thousand repetitions on a regular basis. Throwing the javelin is the same way, folks. It's a complicated, total body, physical effort. And you cannot get adept at this skill without practicing. There's a horrible catch-22 that runs through javelin throwers. If you throw with bad technique, your elbow and shoulder hurts. So you automatically think, I'm throwing too much. I can't throw that regularly or that often or that much because it makes my elbow and my shoulder hurt. So you throw less, but now you got time that you have to spend training somewhere else. So what do? Ha! I go to the weight room. And you lift and get strong and you do all this other stuff in your training and you get physically incredibly impressive, but you're not throwing as much. And then when you become bigger and stronger and faster and more explosive, you go out and you throw with bad technique. So now your technique is worse because now you're doing all the same mistakes faster, stronger, more explosively, more dynamically. So your elbow and shoulder hurt more. So what do? You throw less. And then you go in the weight room and get bigger and stronger and more powerful. And it's just a constant downward spiral where you're throwing lousy and with lousy technique and you're getting stronger and you're making the mistakes even worse. What you do is throw gently, softly, and correctly. You spend a lot of time throwing like Tom was talking about last night. You take a one-step throw, where you just get into position and you just step into the plant, but make sure you're shifting your weight. I'm covering a lot of ground here in one step because I'm shifting my body forward. You get to the plant and just flip the javelin. You're not throwing hard, you're relaxed, you're posting up and slinging around. Learn to sling the javelin around a solid post. Then when you can do it with one step, you back up and you take 2 steps. And you can see you're moving and generating forward momentum, and my follow-through is not a forced effort, it's a natural reaction to the stop. When you can do it off 2 steps, you back it up and you take 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. And you just build back a little bit at a time, throwing gently and correctly. If you get your kids to throw with the right rhythm and throw relaxed and correctly, they get in a couple of 100 repetitions every couple of weeks doing that. Their elbow's not going to hurt because they're not throwing hard and they're not throwing from their arm. They're throwing from body position and stretch reflex out of the big muscles, and their arm is just guiding the javelin. The whole trick to throwing the javelin far is having that aspect of the throw, the last couple of steps that put you into position so that the jolt generates the release speed, learning how that becomes such second nature, you don't have to think about it, because quite frankly, it's going so fast you can't think about it. If you think about it, you're in big trouble. And the guys that were thinking about their technique, that was one of the things I like to do when I was throwing. You know, go up to the guys and say, oh man, you really look good today, but you know, if you turn that right foot just a little bit more forward, you throw a whole lot farther. You know, so these guys are coming in, where's my foot? They're screwed. I got it. You know, but don't tell your kids that. You know, tell them, get on your left. Boom. Get them moving forward and constantly working on accelerating, getting ahead, running away from the javelin. They're going to have a lot of success. And then when it comes time to throw far, when you want to have a big throw, you don't try to throw harder. You just try to do your little dance the last 3 steps with a little bit more momentum so you have some more speed and you have more to stop. And how well you stop determines how much energy you put into the javelin. There's a question way in the back.
Now, I was wondering, how do you determine how many steps you would take?
It's entirely up to the athlete. What I would recommend, and I've coached.
Because you said accelerate through the throw, right?
Yes.
There's a point where the body will decelerate, I would imagine.
Well, what you have to do is, this isn't an easy answer question, so I can't put it on a bumper sticker for you.
I understand.
Basically, how long a run-up the athlete takes and how fast they run is determined by how comfortable they are with their technique. If you have a kid who's just starting out, I would teach him and this is something that I do with my young athletes. I've got a whole range of athletes. I got high school kids that I coach, junior high school kids that I coach, and guys like Tom Puxtis and Mark Fletcher and Delisle Woods who are looking at going on the Olympic team. So, you know, I'm working with really elite people, and I'm also finding kids that are just starting to learn how to throw, and I've got to teach them the way to be successful and not get hurt and keep them motivated by having success. One of the things that I teach the young athletes And also with my elite athletes, at this time of year when we're practicing throwing gently but correctly, is a drill that I call 1-2 jump and throw. It's a 5-step throw. Gosh, I wish I could be up on something. I'll go through the room again and show everybody. It's basically a 5-step throw where for a right-handed thrower the arm is back and the right foot is in front. So the first step will be on the left foot, and you literally are walking through, you're saying it as you do it. So the first step is 1, 2, jump and throw. So you're accelerating the rhythm, you're teaching the rhythm, and you're actually emphasizing a major part of throwing the javelin, which is the aggressive use of the left leg to take off in the crossover. We talked about how important it is to get on that block, to get on the left leg in order to get a big stretch reflex and generate the throw. All of you, when you've coached sprinters and long jumpers and triple jumpers, you know that if you explode off the ground, that leg is automatically going to recover and get back out in front of you for the next step. Same thing happens in the javelin. You get off that left foot in your crossover, that left leg is out in front for your plant waiting. It's out there quick and you don't have to sling it out, it's already there. So the jump is really important in taking off in the crossover, but it's a jump away from the javelin. It's not a jump up. It's a low horizontal jump. It's like you're jumping across a puddle. So again, 1, 2, jump and throw. And you actually deliver the implement. I'll come down the hall here. And see, this is nice and narrow, so I've got to be good. Because if I'm falling one side or the other, somebody's getting hurt. It's probably me. But I don't have ACL, so I'm okay. And one thing that I pat myself on the back, I am left-handed. You can tell by where my watch is. I've taught so many right-handed people for so many years, my technique righty is better than it is lefty. Okay? From here. You start out, knees are slightly flexed. You're running out of your thighs, not out of your toes. I'll come to the back also. You're not running stiff like that of your toes. Your knees are bent. You're working out of your thighs. I'm going to wipe out my brother's camcorder here. Okay? 1, 2, jump and throw. Hi. Okay? Again, hips are level, knees are flexed. I'm working out of my thighs. Arms are relaxed. First step is on the left. 1, 2, jump and throw. Get a little close on that one. Okay, but that's that idea, that rhythm. I'll do it back here. The idea of you've got to really get going. You have to accentuate. And another easy way to teach your kids that need for rhythm being fast at the end is simply you have 2 keys. When you're running carrying the javelin, all this is to build up momentum. It makes you lighter so that when you do your step pattern of 3, 5, 7, whatever your step pattern is that the kids have, once they drop the javelin back, that's the signal to step on the gas. This is just making you lighter and establishing a rhythm. Once the javelin goes back, you're accelerating and you're getting aggressive so that every step is quicker than the one before. Okay? So tempo and rhythm is important. Practice that. Practice running with the javelin, and when you withdraw it, pick up the speed. And that's an easy problem to fix. I say on here, roller coaster in the hips. That's if you're landing, you know, instead of landing and dropping the knee, if you land hard on that right leg, your hips go up and then you drop down and sink. If the path of your hips is up and down as you're coming through the throw, you're going to run into trouble. Let your hips keep a nice level path. I want to go through a couple of these things quick before I go on to some of the things on the videotape. And please, when we get done here, if you have individual questions, please track me down. I'm here to help you guys. I wish I had more time than they gave me because there's things that, you know, after we get done, I'll be thinking, God, why didn't I talk about this? Or, I missed or forgot about that. So, you know, flag me down and ask me. Hard right or sitting on the right. Same thing. If you're landing off that crossover and you're landing hard instead of letting that knee drop and the heel turn, it's going to make your arm drop, the point go up. 90% of the times, if your javelin thrower is losing the point and is flying standing on his tail, it's not because there's something wrong with what they're doing with their arm. They're doing something wrong with their legs. They're not getting to their plant. They're slowing down on their right leg. When you slow down on your right leg, your hand drops, and when your hand drops, the point goes up, and then when you try to throw, you just magnify that mistake. Okay? Landing square, we talked about that, you know, land sideways and then let your body work for you. And in order to land sideways and generate speed in the javelin, you have to be firm. Don't have a soft plant side, okay? What I call the altar boy plant. You know, you got to be firm. If you come in here and you're talking to the Pope, you're in trouble because you're going to blow up your elbow. You got to be solid when you hit that left side. Be tall when you hit it so that you can put energy into the javelin. It's like, you know, doing bench presses in a waterbed. If you have nothing to push against, you're not getting any work done. If you're mushing down as you're throwing the javelin, you have no anchor to accelerate against. You have to be firm to accelerate the throw. Okay? Let me go over these concepts real quick at the bottom, and then we'll look at a couple things on the videotape. The flow of power, the flow of the throw works from the ground up. It's pretty obvious. We've talked so much about what the legs do. The legs do their work. Over here where some people can see. The legs do their work. They push the hips push the belly pulls the chest pulls the shoulder. It's a ground-up swinging action. The old coaches that talked about cracking the whip, boy, they were dead on it. That's absolutely perfect analogy. Yes?
So after you release your right foot, where do you see the right foot?
No matter. It's inconsequential. If you hit the throw and strike it, it's just going to find its own place to follow through at. If it starts falling out here, that means the kid is real inefficient with his legs and his upper body is leading the throw. He's coming in and throwing here, and he's dragging his foot. And he's going to be losing the point. He's going to be delivering down here. It's going to be pretty obvious. They should hit their plant, and when they're delivering, they should be nice and tall. You don't want to hit your plant and hold this position and stay there. It's an instantaneous position. You hit it, it's like stepping on a landmine. Boom! And you're through it and past it. But the overall attitude should be through and up and out. And if you're bailing out to the side, you've missed something big in your transfer of weight. Over 90% of the javelin problems in technique are poor weight transfer from right to left. Something that I want to mention briefly. Remember when we did our demonstration where we loaded the guy up and had the little sling? Another visual picture is imagine a line from right-handed thrower, right hip to left shoulder. Okay? And this forms a triangle. Remember this triangle, Sherry? Okay? This is one of the things that she, my guinea pig, God love her. You drag the point of the triangle. Get the base of the triangle as far ahead as quickly as possible and drag the point. So you get that slinging action. Another idea that can get your kids to do. The right hip and the left shoulder are almost together simultaneously. And then this follows and snaps. And it's an easy drill, easy standing throws. Drag the point. Drag the point. You'll see big throws.
You snap your wrist at the end?
Again, there's no tension. This is a wet piece of rope. Okay, so yeah, it's probably going to flail and snap through, but I'm not doing it voluntarily. It's just what's happening. The only thing that I really focus on is what's happening from my knees to my left shoulder. I can control these parts of my body in the throw and not adversely affect the throw because they're big enough and slow enough I can think about them during the throw. If I'm thinking about what my feet are doing, if I'm thinking about what my right arm is doing, I'm getting hurt and I'm throwing forward. Yes?
What about grip?
There's three major grips: index finger and thumb, middle finger and thumb with the index finger somewhere on the shaft, and the fork grip. They're all good. Let your kid find the one that they like the best. Best thing to do, show them all three, let them walk up and down the field, just sticking the javelin to the ground with one grip, go up and down the field with the other grip, go up and down the field with the third grip. Whichever one they like is the one they should use. There's no right or wrong. Yes? Nope. I show them all three. When I got young kids, I show them all three. You find the one that's comfortable. You use the one that you like. Yes? Then you get them to throw without a foul line. You have them throw consistently. Have a set check mark that they always start at. Take a bunch of throws, and if they're hitting the same spot on their delivery and throwing consistently, throw after throw within 2 or 3 feet, you know, or 4 or 5 feet. But if they're hitting the same mark over and over and over and over again, you measure it out and you say, all right, see, now you've thrown consistently very well with this run-up, okay? And this distance, you put a tape measure on it. This is, you know, 87 feet, okay? And you say, okay, now when we put a foul line on here, what we're going to do is we're going to come back 8 feet and then go back your 87. So as far as you're concerned, the foul line ain't there because you know I take 15 steps and throw the javelin and it takes 87 feet to do it. Foul line's inconsequential because they're thinking about their rhythm and technique and they know they throw well and cover 87 feet and hit the throw and they're set. So you give them, you make them understand that security blanket. And then the foul line as well, yeah, it happens to be there. That's where you're measuring your throw from. But, you know, you ain't looking at that. You're looking at where the javelin's going. Yes?
How about choosing a javelin for your throw, weight-wise and distance-wise?
Pretty much, Tom mentioned it last night, the distance ratings on javelins are more than anything now a measure of the stiffness of the javelin and the quality of the metal that's made out of. There's no such thing as a distance-rated javelin anymore because with the new international rules, the men's javelin, you can change the aerodynamics and the design of it, so up to about a 65-meter throw, which is roughly about 210 feet, and with the women's, it's 55 meters, roughly about 180. So the only real difference is going to be how stiff the shaft is. So you find a javelin that the kid likes that has a good grip and they feel comfortable with, and if it's a $150 aluminum javelin and he likes it and he throws it far, you know, so much the better. But, you know, a $500 javelin doesn't mean the kid's going to throw 300 feet. I tried it. Okay. We'll look at a couple other throws here real quick because there's some really interesting things here that I want to just let you see. Really big throws. Morris Henry, there's a throw on here. This guy finishes his workout throwing a women's javelin. Not this one. This is an 800-gram javelin that he's throwing about 285. And you can see the nice steady rhythm. This throw right here, this is a women's javelin. There's a fence at 340 feet that he hits on fly. I wish there was sound because you can hear it hit the chain link fence. There's about 350-foot throw. And I thought I had some more of that. Yes? You're gonna, generally you're gonna start out putting straight ahead, and as you drop the javelin back, you're gradually running away from it. So the more steps you take, the more sideways you may turn. But I would not say, you know, immediately drop it back and turn it and force it. Let it be natural, because once you drop the javelin back, remember, that's your signal to accelerate. Pick up the foot rhythm. So as you drop the javelin back, and you're accelerating every step, your feet are going to get ahead of your shoulders, and you're gradually going to turn a little bit more sideways. I'm going to go there. As long as you can see a steady acceleration, that they're not landing. One day, hits. And it's going to drive them crazy. They're going to be bored as hell. But, hey, you want to go far? Or you want to get hurt? You get them to do hits for a day. And the next day, it's you just add a step a day. So at the end of the first week, they're throwing off 5 steps. And then next week, you know, you reinforce. You do the first day, okay? We do 10 throws with 1 step, 10 throws with 2, 6 throws with 3, 6 with 4, 6 with 5. So you get them, you kind of reinforce what they did the previous week by learning it. And then that becomes your warm-up routine. All right, 5 throws from 1 step. Boom. 5 with 2, 5 with 3, all the way back so they go through their, you know, 5 or 7 or whatever it is. I'd roughly say 5 is pretty good, especially if you teach the kids the 1-2 jump and throw, because they've already got that established. They need to be able to do that, so the next step would just be being able to carry a little bit of momentum into it. And it might be just running in place, you know, for a week. All they do is run in place and then do their step pattern. And then the third week, you know, the first 2 days, you know, 4 steps and then 4, or, you know, whatever it is. If it's 8, 10, whatever. But that idea, a couple of steps in place, then a couple of steps moving, and then the throwing pattern. And then you know, as you get into competitions, you know, hell, first couple of meets in high school, dual meets are just dual meets. It's not going to be, these are high quality workouts. This is where you're going out and you're learning how to throw with the full run up to be relaxed so that you've got this grooved and down. So by the time you get to your conference and your regionals and your states, man, it's walking and breathing. The kids don't have to think about it. And that's the whole thing that, and, you know, almost all these kids are going to learn more by mastering the skill than trying to improve themselves physically. I mean, you can certainly do both. You're not going to be able to take a kid and just go throwing exercises and throwing drills 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. You know, I mean, if you could, great. You know, if you can, do it. And then you end up running some sprints to work leg explosion. Go get the 12-pound shot. Do backward over the head throws, backward or forward from a squat, and maybe some twisting throws. That's your weightlifting. You know, you don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger to throw something that weighs 1 3/4.
Might have to run up a hill and around a barrel. They got to carry.
That's too much running. No,
Oh.
see, you know, we're throwers.
Wait a minute.
Okay? You know?
Everybody runs.
Throwers now, but see, you have to understand the thrower's creed. Why stand when you can sit? Why walk when you can ride? Why drive when you can fly? Never pass up free food. Never reach for your wallet when somebody else is buying the beer. You know, and the next throw is the best one.
You mentioned
and you've got to make sure that these kids understand it's functional strength that's important. The biggest mistake I ever made, you know, I talked about meeting Giannis Lucis after my freshman year in college. When I was a freshman in college, I threw just under 230. Couldn't lift, yeah, maybe could squat 2 1/4, could probably do a clean and jerk with about 160 pounds. Couldn't even bench press my body weight. But I had pretty decent skills, and I had a real good throwing arm. That summer I meet Giannis Lucis, and we talked about all kinds of stuff. And the thing that, more than anything, I learned how important it is to get the right answer, to listen for the answer. I asked him how, what about weightlifting? Oh, work with the weights is important. That's all he said. And so I'm like, oh man, oh yeah. My sophomore year in college, I could squat over 600 pounds, I could clean and jerk over 300, my bench press was over 400 pounds. Best throw I had that year was about 216. I dropped almost 20 feet on what I could throw, simply because I spent so much time in the weight room, I didn't have any other time to throw, and I never learned how to take all this new power and apply it to throwing. You know, and I had a couple of years in college where, you know, making that balance between throwing and power development, you know, I couldn't find the right correlation. When I got out of college, I started also figuring out, because I was doing some bad things technically, I was trying to drive into the throw, you know, so I was missing that. When I figured out how to really run into the plant and let that contort me and sling, when I really threw well, the best I threw the old rules javelin in a competition was 260 feet, and I had no point control. I got a picture of my throw of 259, and it's coming out of my hand like this. And I stood, you know, and fought all that. If I hit the point reasonably clean, it would have been, you know, 280, 290. I learned how to generate hand speed. I just, you know, I didn't have point control. But at that time, when I was throwing with that, when I was generating that kind of release speed, I was cleaning maybe 2 1/4. I wasn't bench pressing at all. I was doing inclines and jerks, jump jerks, you know, split jump jerks. And I was doing a lot of plyometrics. I was doing a lot of jumping. I was doing a lot of sprinting. I was doing a lot of throwing of heavy implements, twisting, and doing a lot of medicine ball throwing. I was getting strong to throw the javelin, not to be strong in the weight room. You know, I didn't care. You know, people, oh man, you're throwing good. What do you bench? I don't know. I hadn't done it in 3 years. You know, and it's just, you know, it was.
Why don't you mention that jabbing? Because that's good for the stretch reflex.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of, well, I mean, you can make your own, just little drills. Actually, I couldn't do this stuff inside. Surgical tubing is wonderful stuff. But they sell these things. There's a company called On Track, and I think a couple other places have this thing called a Javy, where they've got this little segment of javelin shaft with a cord grip on it, and they've got, you know, 3 or 4 little bungee or elastic cords that are on it, and basically you're able to, you know, get into various, boy, I hope nobody comes walking out of here. I'm going to be in for a big surprise. We'll keep it interesting here. It's just, you know, if somebody comes out, I'm going to really move forward fast. But you know, the idea with the jab is if you actually got a little bit of a javelin shaft. And if you got old broken javelins, this is even better because you can have the grip and you got the point, so you have this idea of length that you can keep things lined up. And you can simply get into a position where you have a little bit of resistance here. We do it right-handed. So the idea here, hello. You have a little bit of tension, okay, just enough that it can, so you can kind of teeter me back. Now what I'm going to do here is drop and turn the knee and pull this arm in at the same time to get, you know, I'm developing this triangle, you know, the base of the triangle from here. And see, you can only be there for a second, but that quick move, there's my stretch, and then you can do repetitions to learn to get forward. I did this with his son. We did it for about 10 minutes, and then when we went to throw, it was like, oh man, everything just fell into place because now the idea was you learn what it feels like to get here, okay? Then it's just go out and use your legs and your non-throwing arm to feel that. And just let the
Plus you get real tired and you get real relaxed.
Yeah,
You know, so you can't kill it.
You know, so there's, I mean, that's a real good thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do that's, I've done this in a couple of places.
The point. Is he meaning this point?
Your kids
No,
have to have
shoulder
trust.
point. The shoulder point here.
But
That's the one. You create the triangle here,
you get the kid,
and your throwing arm is here.
lunge it
This
up,
is what
or
you're
you hold
dragging
them,
the shoulder
get a little
to
bit
the
of
point of the
tension,
triangle.
and let them come into the throw, and the bungee is pulling them so that they're getting onto their plant with help. You know, you can physically be there and pull them, or you can hook it up to a goalpost or something and just make sure the kid is backed up enough. There's really not enough on here. Yeah, 'cause I mean, it's just, and you know, it gets you going. You know, it gets you there. And I don't have to do this with that injury myself. But this is, I mean, you can do some really, really good stuff with these things. That's not gonna work. Let's try plan B. I did go to college, I
Why
swear.
don't you wrap 2 loops around the thing and put that around the back of your waist?
Where'd you go to school? North Carolina. University of. Hey.
Hey, my son's at Florida State. Talk about a family
Okay,
feud.
so just in here, no, I mean, they're going to always win in football, we're going to always win in basketball. Shut up. But you can even just the one-step throw. With this kind of tension, this little assistance, boom. See, I mean, it's pulling me right into. And you just got to give up the right leg. You just got to let it flop. This is going to pull you forward. You're going to have your balance and get to where you want to be to throw. And you know, the kid can have an implement, and they can throw it. And then you can just keep backing them up. Oh, absolutely, because it teaches them.
Harri Haataisen toinen heitto. Siinä 3 parasta tällä hetkellä. Tom Paxti siis parantanut. Hänhän johtaa kilpailua tuloksella 82-50. Siinä 3 parasta tällä hetkellä. Tom Paxti siis parantanut 79-64. Hakkarainenkin sai toisellaan yli 80-18, mutta ei parantanut. Nyt Harri Haatainen toista kertaa yrittämässä. Ja jälleen keihäs tulee sieltä korkealta ja tulee pitkälle. Jälleen hyvä heitto 82 metriin. Se on siinä ja siinä, etteikö hän vielä paranna ensimmäistä kierroksesta.
Kyllä tämä näyttää ihan hyvältä, että kyllä Harrilla on nyt kaikki eväät vielä parantaa tulosta. Ja todella hyvä on tuo eteneminen tässä loppuvaiheessa, että hänen ryntää suorastaan tuota tukijalkaa vasten. Että jos vaan saadaan keihään hyvä asento nyt, niin siitä on kiinni aika paljon tämmöisessä tuulessa, että siitä voi tulla vaikka muutama metri jopa tuohon lisää.
Ei aivan parantanut 82-10, mutta heittänyt kuitenkin kilpailun 2 pisintä heittoa toistaiseksi. Sitten vuoroon Tom Paxtis. Monen kertaan on tullut sanottua jo, että todella tasaista sarjaa. Sitä se on ollut. Ja hänen viimeinen esiintymisensä huuto on sen mukaan, että nyt tulee yli 80 ja kärkeen Tom Paxtis, Yhdysvallat.
Eli tämä oli vähän sitä, mitä puhuttiin, että kun heittää tasaista sarjaa ja piikki tulee, niin se menee paljon pidemmälle.
Näin se usein on, että siellä otteet tuohon kilpailuun, kun säilyy vaan hyvänä, niin siellä se joku heitto sitten onnistuu. Ja ihanteellisessa asennossa tuli keihäs taas, niin kuin Tomille on tuo vahva puoli heitossansa.
84-11. Siinä tuli kyllä nyt Harri kaksikolle sellainen se taisteluhaaste heitettyä, että oksat pois.
Mutta eikö se toisaalta Mauri ole niin, että juuri näitä kaivataan, koska nyt on kuitenkin mitattavissa se, että miten pystyy vastaamaan. Kyllähän isossakin kisassa voi käydä näin, että viimeisellä joku tööttää ohi ja silloin pitää löytyä vielä omasta vartalosta ruutia niin, että pystyy vieläkin vastaamaan.
Yksi on Harri Haataisen.
Tällä kaudella siis voitto Yhdysvaltoihin, Tom Paxtis kisan ykkönen 84-11, mutta Harri Haatainen hyvässä tuntumassa ja eritoten Haataisen hyvät heitot kilpailun alussa lämmittivät nämä 3 yli 80 metriä. Muille jäi sitten aika paljon petrattavaa kauden seuraaviin kisoihin.
Aki Parviainen, Matti Närhi, Harri Haatainen. Heidän varassaan on se, jatkuuko tuo mainittu mitaliputki. Mutta 26 suomalaisuus...
Hieman ylemmäs nyt Harri ja hieman alemmas. Harrin ensimmäinen heitto oli kyllä erittäin korkea. Ja tällä kertaa jälleen kyllä korkealta keihäs tulee ja hän parantaa. Se on selvä asia. Hyvä heitto jälleen.
Hyvä heitto, Harri.
Ja nyt ollaan jo 80 metrin paremmalla puolella. Ja nyt käsi käy, heitto lähtee matalana ja tulee sinne hyvin lähelle karsintarajaa. Yli 82 metriä. Tämä merkitsee sitä, että hän todennäköisesti siirtyy kolmoseksi juuri Harri Haataisen edelle.
Huolta pelit! Näytä!
Närhihän on heittänyt 78-79, se ei riitä. Enemmän on tultava. Mutta vamma siellä pohjalla. Ja Närhin kolmas heitto kaartaa korkealle ja tulee pitkälle yli linjan 85 metriä. Matti Närhi tekee, sen hän uskaltaa tällä viimeisellä ja tuska on kova tietenkin. Saa nyt nähdä sitten, onko Matista ylihuomenna heittäjäksi, mutta ainakin nyt kirkkaasti yli karsintarajaan ja siinä se on.
Kolmas heittäjä, joka ylittää 83,5 metrin kohdalla olevan karsintaviivan.
85.05. Hän on Katsiudisin jälkeen tämän karsinnan paras heittäjä.
Tässä ovat osanottajat 3 kappaletta suomalaisia mukana finaalissa edellisen kerran. Sama asia koettiin Göteborgissa 95, mutta aihat olivat silloin ensimmäinen.
Hyvin monipuolinen urheilija, taustaa pyöräilystä, tenniksestä ja jopa estejuoksusta, mutta nyt siis lentää keihäs. Muutama vuosi sitten voitti Yhdysvaltain yliopistomestaruuden. On ollut 3 viimeisissä arvokilpailuissa, mutta kaikissa karsiutunut ja karsintavaiheessa ensimmäinen arvokisa finaali Paul Arne Fagernes ja hänen keihänsä nousee todella korkealle ja tulee yli 80 metriä. 82,5 metriä. Paul Arne Fagernes menee tällä heitollaan kilpailun kärkeen. Heitto mitataan. Ja kun Fagernesin kauden paras on 86 tasan, joka on myös Norjan ennätys, niin omaan tasonsa nähden Fagernes avaa kilpailun erinomaisesti. 82-99 Paul Arne Fagernes kilpailun kärkeen.
Hyvä avaus myös norjalaiselta ja just tätä vauhtia keihäänkaaret kisoja pronssia. vauhtia. Keihään kaaret ottavat mittaa lisää. Olla sitten, että närhi tulee vuoroon. Ollaan jo tuolla 84 metrin tuntumassa. Raimond Hecht Zürihin kilpailussa on kolmantena. Ei päässyt Ateenassa mukaan Euroopan mestaruuskisojen pronssia. Ja nyt lähtee Hechtin keihäs sekin väkevästi kädestä vaapuen. Ja nyt mennään jälleen pitemmälle. Nyt mennään jo 86 metriin. Ja valmentaja tuulettaa katsomossa. Valmentaja katsomossa ehdottomasti tämän kilpailun innostunein yleisö. Stadion odottaa edelleen täyttymistään. Täällä on suurin piirtein 1/3 kapasiteetista tällä hetkellä miehitetty. Kun Hecht aloittaa 85-92 ja siirtyy kilpailun johtoon ylivoimaisesti lähes 3 metrin erolla Paul Arne Fagernesiin. Raimond Hecht, hyvä avaus, 85-92. Tämä riittää varmasti myös jatkokierroksille, 4., 5. ja 6. kierrokselle. Sen uskaltaa
kilpailujen pronssimitalimies, ollut vuoren varmassa kunnossa läpi koko kauden. Ja täällähän kreikkalaiset jo juhlivat naisten keihään heiton voittoa. Katsiulis ensimmäinen heitto. Rennon näköinen repäisy ja keihäs tulee pitkälle. Se tulee 89 metriin. Siinäköhän se jo oli. Kostas Katsiulis osoittaa, että hän on yhä edelleen vuoren varmassa kunnossa. Helpon näköinen rento heitto ja siellä se on lähes 90 metrin kohdalla 89 metrissä. 89-18. Kostas Katsiulis selkeästi kilpailun kärkeen. Raimond Hecht toisena 85-92 ja Paul Arne Fagernes kolmantena 82-99.
Saattaapa olla, että kilpailun voittotulos on reilustikin päälle 90 metriä. Sen verran helpon näköistä Katsiulisin heittäminen oli. Mutta nyt, mikä on Jan Zeleznin päivän kunto? Hieman levisi heitto harjoitusheitoissa. Ateenassa 9. Viime kausi olkapäävamman takia pieleen. Tällä kaudella jo 89-06. Ja nyt lähtee Zeleznin kädestä keihäs. Se lähtee korkealle, mutta ei kaara Katsiulisin mittoihin. Tulee 83 metriin kutakuinkin. Jan Zelezny, olympiakisojen voittaja Barcelonasta ja Atlantasta, maailmanmestaruuskisojen ykkönen sekä Stuttgartista että Göteborgista. Kun otetaan Zeleznyn 100 parasta heittoa uralta, niin niiden keskiarvo on yli 90 metriä heittojen pituudessa. Se kertoo Jan Zeleznystä paljon. Tämä kausi ei ole vielä luvannut kovin hyvää, mutta hiljalleen Zeleznykin on tulossa kärjen kuvioihin mukaan. 83-60. Katsomossa on kaikki apuvälineet. MM6 Ateenasta. Boris Henry. Ja siitä ensimmäinen kiskaus. Aika vihainen tulee matalana hyvänä kaarina ja tulee 84 metrin tuntumaan. Nyt on kolmas tilaa vaarassa. Häipyä Jan Zeleznyn ulottumattomiin. Katsiulis, Hecht ja Henry. Siinä on ilmeisesti tämän heiton jälkeen kilpailun kärkikolmikko. 193 senttiä pituutta, 105 kiloa on painoa. Boris Henryllä ikää 25 vuotta. Atlantassa hän oli olympiakisojen 5. Keihäs lepattaa. Vaapui kuin muuttava joutsenen kaula. 83-28. Boris Henry on 4. Jää Zeleznystä.
Toinen kierros, sen aloittaa Aki Parviainen. Hän on kerännyt varmasti nyt sisulatausta. Katsellessaan muiden heittoja, Parviainen 7. parannusta tarvitaan, jotta paikka 3 viimeisellekin kierrokselle aukeaisi. Vielä aikuisten arvokisamenestystä Akille ei ole tullut. Nyt olisi aika muuttaa tuo suunta. Maailmantilaston kärkimies, toinen yritys. Ja Ja Parviaisen keihäs ilmassa ja nyt se tulee korkealta ja tulee pitkälle. Se on 86 metriä ja tästä on hyvä jatkaa kilpailua. Hän taistelee Hehtin kanssa kakkostilasta tällä heitolla. Saattaa olla, että no niin, ei puhuta vielä mitään, antaa mittamiesten hoitaa omat tehtävänsä. Hyvä heitto se joka tapauksessa oli ja nyt Akikin valitsi toisen kaistan. Heitto radalla toisen puolen ja se kannatti. Hän menee toiseksi 86.08. Hyvä Aki. No niin,
80-senttinen. Pannaan siihen 7 senttiä nyt lisää. 103 kiloa. Siihen ei laiteta yhtään lisää. Siinä pituus ja paino Paul-Arne Fagernesille. Mitkään misterikisathan nämä eivät ole. Tässä tarvitaan raakaa voimaa, taitoa ja tekniikkaa. Keihään heittäjä Paul-Arne Fagernes, toinen heitto. Hän on 7. tätä ennen korkealle, jopa korkeammalle kuin Närhin keihäs, mutta tulee pitkälle sieltä ylhäältä alaspäin. Tietysti on pitkä matka myös tulla ja 82.99 on paperia Fagernesin toisella heitolla. Ei kuitenkaan ole välttämättä yhtä pitkä kuin Parviaisen 86.08, yli 85 metrinen kuitenkin. No on sentään 86.24. Fagernes heittää toisellaan uuden Norjan ennätyksen. Heitti edellisen 28. päivä 7. 86 metriä tasan, nyt 24 senttiä siihen päälle. Ja Paul-Arne Fagernes ottaa kakkostilan.
No niin, ja
Selesny ei ensimmäisellään päässyt kuin 83.60. Nyt on lapausta toiseen heittoon varmasti todella paljon. Ja se auttaa. Sieltä tulee kyllä sellainen mälli, että sehän on 87 metriä. Ei siinä mitään näin. Selesny ottaa kilpailussa kakkostilan Kostas Katsiudisin jälkeen. Ja näin putoaa Parviainen hetkessä 4. Kyllä tämä kilpailu on erittäin kova. Selesny 87.67. Kärki tiivistyy. Katsiudis 89.18. Selesny 87.67. Fagernes Norjan ennätyksellä 86.24 ja Parviainen 86.08.
Kova kilpailu tullaan käymään tänään.
Sen vaikka 24 ja sille välille mahtuvat vielä Parviainen ja Heht, joten tiukka taistelu ainakin pronssista käydään. Raimond Heht lähtee omaan hyökkäykseensä. Korkea kaari, joka ei voi lentää kovin pitkälle, 79 metriä. Hieman yli.
Sinne 87 metriin mieliäkseen mitaleille. Katsiudis 89.18, Selesny 87.67, Fagernes kolmas 86.24, nyt Aki Parviainen kiskaise 87.8 metriin korkealta lähtee ja nyt se menee pitkälle, siinä se on! Siinähän se on, ai, 5. heittokierros ja Aki Parviainen taitaa pelastaa Suomen sittenkin mitaleille 7. maailmanmestaruuskisoissa. Siinä oli tälli, jossa voi olla, että moni ei tämän kilpailun aikana enää toivo. Ai, hyvin pysyy jalka. Maailmantilaston ykkönen vapisuttaa keihästä kärkeen 89.52. Onko Suomi ottamassa jälleen kultaa keihään heitossa? Ja Hirvonen, ai, mitkä tuuletukset siellä ja myös Parviaiselta kärkiheitto. Ja Suomi on pelastumassa. Suomi on pelastumassa jälleen mitaleille.
Tulee joka tapauksessa. Nyt on vaan väristä
88 olympiavoittaja on siellä.
On ainakin MM-hopea varma ja Katsiudis käyttää tämän viimeisen mahdollisuuden.
Selesny on tuolla. Hän oli riisumassa verryttelyasuja, mutta ei mene sinne. Selesninkin kaaret ovat olleet lyhyitä. Ja tämä kaksikko Tapio, Korjus ja Hirvonen jännittävät. Katsiudisin viimeinen mahdollisuus ohittaa Aki Parviainen. Keihäs lähtee kovaa, mutta ei mene niin pitkälle vaan. Aki Parviainen on maailmanmestari. Suomi ottaa jälleen maailmanmestaruuskultaa Keihässä. Näin Kimmo Kinnunen ja Seppo Räty saavat seuraa. Ja kyllähän siellä olympiavoittaja Tapio Korjus, Soulin olympiavoittaja, on myös iloisin tästä koko kolmikosta. Ellei sitten Aki Parviainen, joka nyt vihdoinkin sitten nousee arvokisa mitalistiksi, maailmanmestariksi, ja tätähän me odotamme.
Riine on kolmantena, juuri Heli edellä, 64-28 ensimmäiseltä heittokierrokselta. Näin lähtee hänen keihäänsä ja menee yli 65 metriä ja hän siirtyy kakkoseksi ja uhkaa nyt myöskin Tanja Damasken johtoasemaa. Damasken tulos ensimmäiseltä kierroksesta 65-36, sillä saksalainen johtaa. Ja näin tämä aikoinaan varmaan myöskin maailmanluokan käsipalloille, jos sitä lajia olisi pitemmälle harrastanut, tämä Riine heittää nyt 65-12 ja siirtyy kakkostilalle. Voittaa Kuuban Isel Lopesin, Heli edelleen neljäntenä 62-64.
Wilson Kipketterin voitto aika 800, 1.43.34, Norberto Telles Kuuba 1.44.58 ja Sami Langat Kenia 1.44.96. Nämä alittivat 1.45. Niko Motsebon 1.45.03 oli 4.
Berliinin keihäskilpailua ensimmäisen kierroksen heitolla on 65-36. Sen jälkeen yliastumisia yksi alle 60. Ja mitä hän nyt tulee? 6. heittokierros, matala kaari. Ja menee pitkälle, menee todella pitkälle ja hän parantaa 66 metriin. Ja Damaske vahvistaa johtoasemansa, kun Louis McFall, Heli Rantanen ja Trine Hattestad ovat enää jäljellä. Ja siinä suomalaisetkin onnittelevat ja onnitteli myöskin Trine Hattestad, että hänellä on yksi heitto jäljellä. Damaske nyt 66-60 ja vahvistaa johtoasemiaan, joka ennen tätä heittoa oli 65-36. Hattestad on kakkosena 65-12, Lopes kolmantena 65-10, Heli neljäntenä 62-78. Kierroksella ja tällä kaudella 64-56 juuri tuossa karsinnassa. Ja näin Mikaela MM-kisojen pronssimitalinainen Göteborgista 2 kesän takaa. Korjuksen Tapsan valmennettava. Hiukan ollut jalkavaivoja, niinpä hän viivästytti kauden avausta muihin suomalaisheittäjiin nähden, mutta tänne hän kuitenkin Dublinin Morton Stadionille pääsi Suomea edustamaan. Kova karjaisu ja komea kaari ja yli 60 metriä pitkälti, yli 60 metriä. Siis 64-56 tällä kaudella ennen tätä heittoa ja ennätys Japanin Osakasta viime keväältä 65-66 ja katsotaan mitä nyt tulee. Erinomainen heitto voimakkaaseen myötätuuleen toiselta kierrokselta Mikaela Ingberg. Täällä on manuaalinen mittaushomma, mittanauhasysteemi, joten se kestää, kun sitä mittanauhaa siellä oiotaan. Mutta hän parantaa 64-22. Hieno heitto. Mikaela Ingberg, Suomi. Keihässä heittovuorossa sitten yksi maailman tähti. Trine Hattestad, katsotaan miten hän vastaa Mikaelalle. 67-78 Florössä Norjassa tällä kaudella. Ja raju veto ja pitkä kaari siitä tuleekin. Ja näin. Se menee 65 metriin ja taitaa olla johtotulos. Trine on erinomaisessa kunnossa. Hänen ennätyksensähän on 72-12 4 vuoden takaa. Tuosta lähtee raju repäisy. Tältä myöskin varmasti maailmanluokan käsipalloilijat, jos hän sitä lajia olisi tosissaan harrastanut. Hän pelaili pitkään 64-94 ja siirtyy keihäskilpailun johtoon.
Tuolta listalta kyllä löydän. Eli siinä mielessä tämä tilanne näyttää ihan hyvältä ja valoisalta.
Sitten Mikaela Ingberg heittovuorossa ja toivottavasti ohjaalla on nauhalla. Ennen häntä hirmuinen heitto Trine Hattestad 68-58. Siinä kakkostilaa ja lyötävä 68-58. Toivotaan, että se näytetään nauhalta. Tuo Hattestadin hurja heitto.
Siinähän jo Heli Rantanen tiesi kertoa, että vanha rouva on heittänyt harjoituksen yli 70. Hän käytti tätä sanontaa vanha rouva, en minä.
Juuri näin. Mikaela Ingberg myöskin hyvässä kunnossa ja toivottavasti terveenä koko kauden 64-56. Suomen karsinossa 65-66 hän kävi keväällä 96 Japanissa Osakassa heittämässä, voitti siellä yhden Grand Prix-kisa ja teki silloin ennätyksensä vuosi sitten. Mikaela. Raju on karjaisia hyvässä kaaressa, keihäs lähtee ja lentää pitkälle. Nyt on lähellä tytön oma ennätys, siis 65-66, hän on erinomaisessa kunnossa, aivan erinomaisessa kunnossa.
Ennätys ilman muuta, onhan tuohan on 67-metrinen enemmänkin.
Katsotaan. Siis 68-58 heitti Trine Hattestad ennen Mikaelaa ja Mikaela 67-32 tekee oma henkilökohtaisen ennätyksensä. On loistavassa kunnossa.
Kerta kaikkiaan. Se oli sen näköinen heitto jo heti alun pitäen, että se lähti ei kyntäen, vaan lähti
Ylikin, että päästään mitalleille ja
96 Japanissa Osakassa heittämässä, voitti siellä yhden Grand Prix-kisa ja teki silloin ennätyksensä vuosi sitten. Mikaela. Raju on karjaisia hyvässä kaaressa, keihäs lähtee ja lentää pitkälle. Nyt on lähellä tytön oma ennätys, siis 65-66, hän on erinomaisessa kunnossa.
on varmasti ihan sama taso, jos ei vähän kovempikin maailmalla.
Ja 61-68 on tuo Ingverin paras tulos. Ja se syntyi edellisellä heitolla. 67-32 tällä kaudella, ja se on myös Mikaelan ennätys. Olympiakisoissa Atlantassa 7. Maailmanmestaruuskilpailuissa 3. vuotta aiemmin Göteborgissa. Ja tänä vuonna varmasti tuonne palkintotraffiin haluttaisiin jälleen yhtä mitalia. Arvokisamitalia.
Kyllä, se on jokaisen urheilijan tavoitteena menestyä myöskin näissä arvokisoissa, samoin kuin kaikissa kesän kilpailuissa.
Korkealle lähtee ja nyt tullaan 65 metriin.
Mikaela otti tähän heittoon ilmeisesti vähän hiljaisemman vauhdin kuin edelliseen heittoon. Ja sitä kautta pääsi vahvempaan vetoon. Ja tämä heitto, jossa on lähtönopeutta 25 metriä sekunnissa, niin
65-20 tähän väliin tuo tulos.
Valmentajana tietysti on tyytyväinen tulokseen, mutta heitto näyttää hivenen menevän aukeavan vasemmalle ja se ei kulje täysin tukielan päältä, että siinä vielä parantamisen varaa ja hiomista tuossa lopussa on.
Mutta tästä on hieno jatkaa sitten 3. viimeiselle kierrokselle, kärjessä siis Mikaela Ingveri 65-2 karnevaaleissa Kyröskoskella.
In the end, world's fastest for her. There you can see how we stand in the javelin going into the latter stages of the last round. Hattestad still leading with that second round throw of 67.06. That's a much better effort there by Ingberg. This one coming to you off tape, in fact, with her final round almost getting up to Hattestad's distance of 67, 66.32 here by Ingberg. Much better, been struggling since round 1. Hadn't managed to register a throw, 62.80 in round 1. 2 no throws and then 2 passes as well, but that's a lot better for her.
Ja Mikaela on nyt taka-ajoasemassa. Metrin verran häntä parempi. Todella tiukan keskittymisen jälkeen lähtee Ingberg keihäs ja kampaa pitkälle tämä heitto. Ingberg ilman muuta kilpailun kärkeen ja ylivoimaiseen sellaiseen. Tuo heittohan on 65 metriä. Hyvin lähellä sitä. Todella komea Mikaela Ingbergin. 64.07. Näin Mikaela Ingberg reippaasti kilpailun kärkeen. Naisten keihäskilpailusta on tullut erittäin kovatasoinen. Koko meidän kärkikolmikkomme on vahvassa kevätvireessä.
Ja Kiinan Li Lein tämän kaudussa ei ainakaan päästy lähellekään näitä ennätysaikoja. Näytti siltä, että Powell olisi ollut siinä sitten toisena. Ja sen jälkeen radalta 5 Darren Campbell.
Naisten keihässä on ollut paljon yliastumisia. Tässä Makarova ja Shikolenko ovat ennen Ingbergia astuneet heittonsa yli. Nyt Mikaela Ingberg, ensimmäisen kierroksen heitto. Ja matala vihainen kiskaisu ja keihäs kaartaa yli 65 metriin. 66 metriä Mikaela Ingberg heti tällä ensimmäisellä yrittämällään. Ja hänen ennätyksensä on 67.32 ja Ingberg on tällä kaudella heittänyt 64.07, joten varmaan on, että kauden paras siitä Mikaelalle tulee ja samalla myöskin kauden kotimainen kärkitulos heti kättelyssä. Mikaela Ingberg sai vihaisesti lähtemään keihäänsä ja nyt jännitetään.
Ja Makarovia jäljessä ja nyt Parviaisen seuraava kiskaisu, 3. kierros, eikä lähde tälläkään kertaa keppi oikein kunnolla, mutta meneepä se kuitenkin sitten tuonne 90 metrin lähelle. Ei lähde oikein vauhdikkaasti kädestä, mutta kantoa ja liitoa riittää, nimittäin Parviainen vaihtoi keihäsmallia tähän heittoonsa. Edellisillä kerroilla heitti tuollaisella keltaisella kepillä, mutta nyt näyttää ottaneen sitten Nemetin käteensä ja heittää sinne pitkälle, ja tässä tuulettaa myös sitten Jarmo Hirvonen ja menee kilpailun kärkeen. 87-91, Väkli 87-48.
Joo, Nemetin vaihtonäkö ja tuki aika selvästi tuli nopeammin maakassa heitossa, että siinä oli varmaan syy, miksi menti paremmin.
Aikaisemmat heitot ovat menneet vasemmalle, mistä se johtuu?
No, tuki aika silloin venyy ja sitten se pikkusen pyörähtää, niin se lähtee vasta.
Kolmantena tuloksella 56-32. Jälleen yli 60 metrin ja on pidempi kuin tuo 63 ja 10, joten pikkuhiljaa keihäsnaiset pääsevät vireeseen. 5. heittokierros on keihässä menossa. Edellisellä kärkeen 63-10. Hyvässä asennossa keihäs kaartaa, no suurin piirtein samoille metriluvuille, metrin pidemmälle kuitenkin 64-11. Jo yli 87 metriä ja nyt 3. kierroksen heitto. Vahvaa sarjaa, kun tuollaista heittää, se 90 voi tulla millä heitolla tahansa. Tuleeko jo tällä? Jälleen komea kaari ja jälleen pitkälle ja nyt menee 90 metrin viivalle. Kuortaneelle kerääntynyt yleisö saa sen, mitä se on tullut katsomaankin. Aki Parviainen on hurjassa keihäskunnossa. Suomen ennätys, sekin on tänään mahdollista rikkoa. Hän heitti sen tosiaankin Tartossa tuon tuloksen 90-88. Nyt on senteistä kiinni, ylittyykö 90 metriä toisen kerran tänä kesänä. Kyllä siinä saa Steve Backlikin heitellä.
Champion. Well, had a start. That imposing figure in the javelin. And sending the spear, well, way out. It's a good throw beyond 60 meters and beyond the qualifying line. So a neat, efficient qualifying from the Norwegian.
Well, she's totally dominated in the Grand Prix circuit this year, Andy. I mean, not unbeaten, but has won the vast majority of her contests. She's the 3rd woman to qualify now from this group, and Well, it's very different to what we've seen in most of the throws at these championships with both men and...
Team continues. Heli Rantanen, women's javelin.
The Olympic champion Rantanen. That's better. Much better from Rantanen. Second throw for her this morning, and that's a big throw. Around 64 meters. Her Grand Prix season has been pretty up and down. She's had one or two problems, well beaten by Hatterstadt on several occasions. But you can never discount the Finns. And that, yep, certainly around 64 meters. You might well punch the air, Heli Rantanen, because she was the woman that surprised so many in Atlanta.
Yes, so far, 6:38 for the Kazakh, and javelin also underway.
Here's the Cuban. Third and final effort for Menendez. Oh, that's a good effort. Well over 60 meters there. In fact, that's Sonia Bisset, forgive me, in Group B. A 68-meter thrower this year, Bisset, and she may well go out there and hit something beyond 62.50. Tough-looking customer, Bisset, 26 years old now, very powerfully built at just 1.71 meters. 6'7", Damaska of Germany. Now, what can she do? Round one. Incidentally, our computer is frozen for the last 5 minutes or so. We still haven't got that distance for Fiona May. So apologies for that slight glitch in the stadium system. I'm sure they're working to cure it. But Damaska there goes out beyond the qualifying line. Good opening effort from her, and some strong throwing in this first round of the B group. We've already seen Bisset go beyond the 63-meter line. 62.50, remember, is the qualifying distance, and Damaska does just the same there. Yep, she's delighted with that. The Germans, of course, always so strong in the throws. I mean, pouring water over your head and over the larger muscle masses in your body does cool you down a little bit.
Second group, women's javelin qualifying, Joanna Stone of Australia. Oh, and that's a good one, a really good one. Stone qualifying outright first throw. Impressive from her, and she is certainly one of the Australian hopes for perhaps even a gold medal. So she's living up to expectations, but qualifying can always be a difficult time for an athlete of any caliber.
I reckon that's pretty close to a personal best, Andy. Stands at for Sharon Stone 60.
Uusi Helsingin Olympiastadionilla syntyi tämän kauden kärkitulos. Ja ennätys siis kaukana 70 metrin paremmalla puolella, 72.12. Ja niin lähtee Hattestadin keihäs ja tulee pitkälle, nyt tulee 67,5 metriin. Heti ensimmäisellään Norjan Trine Hattestad pistää todella kovan luokan tuloksen peliin. Ei jää odottelemaan yhtään. Mittaus käynnissä. Hattestad 68,78 senttiä edellä Mikaela Ingberg. Louis McFall toinen tämän maan heittäjistä. Ja nyt Stone. Hyvä heitto, nyt tulee pitkälle 67 metriin. Hän vahvistaa asemiaan kakkosena, ei uhkaa Trine Hattestadin ykköspaikkaa 68,78, mutta heittää lähes ennätykseensä, joka siis on 67,72, joten Joanna Stone on vakuuttavassa kunnossa, tämä australialainen poliisi, joka on syntynyt muistaakseni Lontoossa Brittein saarilla ja on itsekin tyytyväinen. 68 Damaske vauhtiin
hurjan huudon saattelemana vetäisee yli 65 metrin. Tanja Damaske on ottamassa paikkaa kolmantena. Felicia Tilean 64-90 on nyt paperia. Tanja Damaske nousee 5. sijalta kilpailun kolmanneksi. Ei tietenkään ohita Stonea, joka on samalla metriluvulla Hattestadin kanssa 68 metriä, mutta hyvä veto Tanja Damaskelta kutakuinkin 66 metriin. Damaske 66-26, näin pronssitilalla jälleen uusi nainen, tällä kertaa Saksan Tanja Damaske. Ensin alkukierroksilla Mikaela Ingberg Suomi, sitten Felicia.
Jopa Trine Hattestadin kärkipaikka saattaa olla uhattu. Sitähän tässä ollaan odoteltu, milloin se natsaa oikein kunnolla kohdalleen. Nimittäin Stone saa heittää kyllä tosi rennosti tällä hetkellä. Hänellä ei ole paineita, hän on onnistunut erittäin hyvin tässä kilpailussa ja katsotaan nyt, onko tässä jymy-yllätys valmistumassa. Joan Stone 68-64 jää nipin napin vielä kakkoseksi.
Parantaa jo
Ja Tanja Damaske kamppailee kovasti Felicia Tilean kanssa kolmannesta tilasta. 6. edellisissä MM-kisoissa. Vuosikymmenen alussa myös junioreiden maailmanmestari. Ja Tanja Damaske keihäs lentää nyt hyvin 66,5 metriin. Komea lopetus tähän kilpailuun häneltä.
Kisa kuin kisa yli 80 metriä ja eliittipisteessä ylivoimainen johto ja mies on kiinni 50 000 markan ensipalkinnossa. Se palkintoraha sitten ojennetaan, jos ojennetaan tälle miehelle Lohjan finaalissa sunnuntaina. Ja siitä lähtee raju repäisy, keihäs kantaa pitkälle menee. Loistava heitto, lähellä maailmanennätyslippua jo ollaan. Olipa mahtava heitto, oli todella upea vetäisy. Katsotaan mitä sinne nyt ilmestyy. Tapio Korjuksen heitto siinä hidastettuna ja keihäs saa hienon kaaren. Nyt odotetaan kovia lukemia pöytään. Maailmanennätys on siis 87-66 Jantsi Lesnin Tsekoslovakian miehen nimissä. Suomen ennätys 85-18-86-46. Uusi Suomen ennätys. Loistava heitto.